This is Listen After Watching,
a podcast where we recap and discuss the most mind-bending, twisty, and thought-provoking TV shows and movies out there. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Alicia. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to your favorite non-incestuous sibling podcast. How you doing, Leash?
I'm so good. It's great to be non-incestuously doing a podcast with you week after week.
I love it. I love to non-incestually do stuff all the time.
How you doing, Age?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Not too much going on. It's finally nice out, which is really fun.
Are your allergies kicking in?
A little bit. Yeah, I take
intense.
I take 2 kinds of allergy medicine every single day. Always. This is probably, I'm going to have Alzheimer's or something, but it's for the cats. And so
yeah,
sometimes there's a little bleed through with like when the seasonal allergies come, but it hasn't been too bad. Abby was pretty miserable the other day. How are yours?
They're starting. I had to get onto my routine of Zyrtec and Flonase, so I'm back on that train.
That's
really
me.
exciting stuff, guys. But we're in one of the worst cities for pollen in the world, I think. So it's just like I think even if you never had allergies before and you move here, you get them. You can't help it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah, we just have horrible allergies here. We're in Richmond, Virginia, and we grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina. So it's just bad allergies.
Yeah.
The whole region is horrible. You can just see it on your car. It's like an inch thick.
Oh yeah, you can see it floating in the air. It looks like a haze.
Yeah, it's wild, wild times. Hopefully, it rained a little bit last night. Hopefully, it'll knock it down.
Well,
anyway,
where they don't have this? In Thailand.
Made in Thailand.
Take us there. Take us to Thailand.
We're there, baby. So what the crop? But yeah, everyone did not come here to hear us talk about our allergies and the weather. So let's get into it. Today we are talking about The White Lotus, Season 3, Episode 7, Killer Instincts. I guess I should just say this is your spoiler alert. If you haven't watched this episode, stop listening. You've listened to all the good stuff anyway. Go watch the show, come back, and we're going to talk about our whole list of suspects here. Let's just dive right in because so much happened in this episode. I want to make sure we can get to everything and not have this episode be an hour and a half. So let's kick off our list of suspects with the outlaws. So back in Bangkok, Rick and Frank meet with Sritala and Jim Hollinger at their house, and they're there to supposedly discuss Sritala starring in a Hollywood film. Once they get there, Frank is obviously ill-prepared with his cover story, and he is really struggling to bluff his way through this. And then to calm his nerves, he ends up breaking his sobriety after giving us that entire story episodes ago. And he asks for a whiskey, which quickly snowballs, as we see. But this was so uncomfortable, this whole exchange, where she's asking like all these questions, like simple questions, like, oh, what movies of mine did you watch? Tell me the plot.
Or like, tell me the plot of the movie. Like, they are obviously, I think we can rule out the fact that like Rick is a hitman at this point from this episode because
not trained.
He is not good. Even he slips up. Like, he calls Frank at one point, but his cover name is supposed to be Steve. So, like, they can't keep their shit straight, and they just seem a mess. Like, I don't think, like, Sritala suspects anything because probably, like, she probably doesn't have, like, a bunch of people trying to come after her, but she needs bodyguards because she's famous. But, like, if she did have reason to think that people would come after her, she should be awfully suspicious of this duo.
I know, this was so bad, but she also is just like soaking in all the compliments. So I think she's like blinded by that. And Frank finally like gets into a groove and like starts complimenting her and gets really lucky like with saying like, oh, it was a movie about you were like royalty or something. And she's like, yes. So he got really lucky there, and that was kind of his in. But it turns into a hilarious scene of Frank and Sritala watching one of her old performances.
It's cute.
So good.
I know. I saw a couple of memes, people saying, just two Asian women hanging out. Frank and Sritala.
So true. My two favorite Asian ladies. I love when he's like, it's a little MC Hammer, Peter Pan, a little Pippin.
It really is, though.
It really is. It's giving Peter Pan.
Oh, yeah.
The little pixie cut. But while that fun is having, while the girls are gabbing, Rick invites Jim to speak privately about doing business in Thailand, and they go back to his office, where Rick confronts Jim about killing his dad. This was a very intense scene. Rick doesn't end up carrying out his plans to kill him, though, although he does bring the gun and scare him. Mm-hmm. But the interesting part is he does bring up his mom's name, and it looks like Jim recognizes the name.
Yeah.
And Rick, it's so frustrating because Rick doesn't give Jim any chance to speak and like tell his story or say anything. And he just kind of goes on this diatribe about how he ruined his life and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. But there were you pointed out a few lines that could hint to some things.
Yeah, so there have been lots of theories of, I think Jim might be Rick's dad, which I think has its merits for sure. And a lot of little things in this episode made me think that like, oh yeah, I think they're trying to tell us this indirectly. But when Rick orders his drink, when the four of them are still sitting together, he orders a whiskey or whatever. And Jim says, my kind of drinker. And it's like, okay, there's a kinship here.
Yeah. Yeah. He just like downs his drink in one gulp.
Yeah. That's right. He drinks it super fast. That's why he says that.
Yeah.
And then when they're in Jim's office, Rick asks him, do you have any kids? And he says he and Sritala have a couple of kids. And then Rick starts his spiel. He's saying, I bet they had a good childhood. If you don't have a happy childhood, you don't have much, right? It's like, okay, I think there's like they wouldn't put this like kid exchange in here for no reason. Although I know Rick kind of blames his shitty childhood on Jim. So, but I don't know. Just a couple of things. And Jim's reaction to his mom's name, of course.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I agree. Some people have pointed out, like, what is going to happen next year? Because Chelsea's still back at the resort that they own, and you just, like, scared this old man and tipped his chair over and tricked him.
Well, and, like, Jim is surely going to say something to Sritala about this, and then she knows that he was staying at her resort. Like, she could just go back there and, like, or, like, call the resort and tell them to, like, look for him or something. I don't know. Like, something's going to happen.
What if her bodyguards are there? What if she gives Guy Talk a chance to confront them? That would be interesting.
Yeah. Maybe.
But, yeah, so Rick doesn't give him much chance to talk. After he tips the Jim over in his chair, he and Frank hightail it out of there. They're, like, running out scared. And once they're out on the streets, they're like kind of like, damn, we pulled it off. And then they head out to party in Bangkok and just like start ripping it up and let loose. Like the sobriety is out the window.
Oh man, disappointing.
Gross. But back at the ranch, Belinda's son, like we guessed, convinces Belinda to attend Greg Gary's party that's happening this night. Mm-hmm. And at the party, Greg pulls Belinda aside and basically admits to everything she is suspicious of, but ends up offering her $100,000 to quote unquote let him live in peace, and saying that that's what Tanya would have wanted. So we called that one.
Nailed it. Hello. Did we get a prize for that?
Bingo.
We weren't playing bingo with this.
Damn it.
There would have been no way to know what to guess. But
no.
Yeah, I mean, this was spot on. And Belinda stupidly does not like humor him at all. She's just like, I don't know. I have to think about it. And it's like, girl, you're going to get yourself killed.
I know. She's acting shifty. And I'm like, you're going to freak him out. And he's going to do something stupid. But a lot of people are saying that she should ask for more. Like $100K. For, like, we've seen his house. He could afford a lot more.
I know. And Zion is like, you could take a whole year off. And I'm like, you're paying her off just to take a year off? Like, really, truly, that's all it would fund. But, like, that's not worth it for, like, a lifetime of looking over your shoulder.
No. At least buy me a house. At least, I mean, it would help her, like, start her business, which is the way he kind of sells it. But that's not enough money to potentially be complicit in a serious crime. And that's what she says. Like, Zion's like, you should take the money. But it sounds like Belinda's not going to. I don't know. We'll see. But at the party, an interesting conversation takes place. So our little freaky deaky Chloe is talking with Saxon and Chelsea. And she tells Saxon that Gary is fine with her infidelity because he used to watch his parents have sex as a child, and now he's kind of into that and wants to, like, stumble upon Chloe having sex with someone. At this point in what we've heard this season in terms of, you know, interesting sexual encounters, not even that shocking, right?
No. Part of me is like, is this even true? I don't know if I believe it or if Chloe is just saying stuff. But Chelsea has a really funny reply. She's like a little boy's dream.
I know. Chelsea's hilarious because she's like so happy, like nodding. She's like with her facial expression, she's like, Saxon, do it. You should do it. Like, you'll be helping them out. Like,
I know. She's just egging him on because she thinks it would be funny, but I don't think she would ever do that herself. You know?
That's a good point, though. We don't ever see the conversation between Chloe and Greg Gary. So she could just be making this whole thing up. Who knows? But possible. Yeah, Saxon looks over at Greg and he gives him this, like, scary look. And I'm like, bro, don't do it. But surprisingly, again, Saxon is surprising us by turning Chloe down and is like, no, like, I don't want to do that.
Yep. He's done one thing right, but the things he's done wrong far outweigh the right. So let's not forget. Stay strong.
Let us not.
Well, let's move on to the girls' trip. My girlies.
My gals.
So things are getting tense between the girlies at dinner. Jacqueline tells Lori that her disappointments in her life are her own fault. And Kate actually agrees with her.
Ouch.
Lori is hurt by this. She tells them both off. She says that Kate is fake and Jacqueline is vain. And then she says, I'm going to the Muay Thai fights. So she gets up and leaves and goes to the fights to meet Valentine, Alexei, and Vlad. And then after the fight, Lori and Alexei hook up.
Oh, snap.
And we see boobies, which... Carrie Coon, your body's looking great.
I forgot to note that. We have to know every time we see boobies or peepees. And we didn't do that. So thanks, Leash.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just so y'all know. And this was so funny. After they hook up, they're like just pillow talk, chatting. And Alexei starts to tell Lori this sob story about his mother being sick and stuck in Russia. And he straight up asks her for $10,000.
Oh my God. This was hard to watch. Ugh.
And poor Lori, she's like, she obviously knows that she just got, used.
Yeah.
But she's too polite to like turn him down to his face.
Yeah, that has to feel shitty. And also, she's in a foreign country with a strange man. Like, she doesn't know how honest she can be, like, turning him down. So
Totally.
she's like, oh, I don't know. I don't have that kind of cash on me.
I know.
And he's like, oh, do you have a Zelle, Cash App, Venmo?
He'll take any form of payment. He's letting you know.
You got a QR code right here.
But
that was wild. I really felt for Lori because she's had a rough trip. And now,
I know.
yeah, that is not even a win. She didn't even get to have just like a fun night. It just ended up really bad.
It's not, and no, it's not fun. Do we still feel like Lori is in the right when it comes to her being upset about what happened, even after their conversation at dinner? Like, what are your thoughts on that? I was kind of thinking, okay, Lori, you might be taking it a little bit too far, insulting your friends, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she just felt like done over by them one too many times. And like, I don't know if she can go back now, I don't know if she can go back to like pretending to be okay with them.
Yeah, I know.
We'll see if like some trauma happens that like rebonds them together, but
it's very possible.
I think it started out that like she was in the right and she had a reason to be upset, and then I think she did kind of take it too far. But then the other girls were just mean, like straight up mean.
I know. They were mean. Yeah. Well, anyway, while Lori's getting hit up for money in bed, she gets lucky because Alexei's girlfriend shows up and she is furious, and Lori escapes out a window, barely with her pants tied on. And while she's escaping, she spies lots of jewelry sitting on a dresser and maybe a familiar looking snake bracelet.
Ruh-roh. Somebody been up to no good.
I know. Not familiar to her, but to us.
Yeah, but probably suspicious that it's a ton of jewelry and these guys have access to the resort, and he's like running this grift. So I think she's probably smart enough to put this together. So we'll see if the girlies band together with this new information.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if they're going to say something to Valentine. I also wanted to mention really quickly, there's a conversation that Kate has with Jacqueline at the end of the night where Kate is like worried about Lori. She says Lori's not answering her texts. And Jacqueline's like, whatever. And she's like, who cares? She'll be fine. And Kate says, well, she's basically like, I guess we're just different because I care that she's safe. And so they're also they're having a little tiff too. Things are like tense all around. It's not just everybody's attacking Lori.
Yeah, they're all falling apart. Oh, and they also mention that Lori mentions that Jacqueline was like trying to get with Kate's husband at her wedding or something. Right. Which sounded like it was new news to Kate. So there's just so many cracks happening here. I don't know about
cracks
these
all
three.
over the place.
Cracks on cracks on cracks, including a Carrie Coon's crack.
Exactly.
Let's move on to the staff. So Guy Talk and Mook finally get to go on their date. Oh my God.
Cute.
We've been hoping for this since the first episode. But it doesn't quite go the way we were hoping. So Guy Talk and Mook are having a conversation. Guy Talk's basically explaining to Mook that he doesn't believe in violence and he can't carry out violence. It's just not something he's comfortable with. He doesn't want to do it. If he had to like attack someone during his job, like during the robbery or something, he wouldn't have wanted to do that. And Mook, it does not seem very supportive of this take. She is like, violence is just part of life. And it seems like she's like kind of upset that he's not more focused on like, oh, I have to move up in my job. I have to become a bodyguard. I have to, be ambitious and do what it takes. So this is, I mean, we kind of suspected this about Mook, but this is like confirming that she's maybe not in it for guy talk, for like the real guy talk, kind of the idea of him.
She's the Thai Alexi. She's looking for him to move up in the world, get some money, and then zell her. So,
Yeah.
Excuse me. You can't blame her, but yeah, I feel bad for Guy Talk. I feel like he really needs like validation in his values in this moment, and he just isn't getting it. And we also, in this episode, we get a little bit of words from the monk back at the monastery, and it's interesting juxtaposed with this and other things in the episode. But he's talking about how violence is wrong, essentially, and that it all stems from fear. And so I don't know. I mean, I think there's probably a lot of like traditional values that we see in Guy Talk that I think Mook doesn't share. She maybe doesn't want to be, she like doesn't want to get with, the dude who's like the family friend, who's a good match for her. She's like looking for something a little more exciting, I think.
Yeah. We'll see how that shakes out, but after getting some food, they end up going to the same Muay Thai fight that Lori and the boys are at. And there in the stands, Guy Talk recognizes Alexi and Vlad as the men who robbed the resort. He's like having flashbacks of this robbery, and he's like, wait, this bald guy looks like that bald guy.
Wow.
So I don't know what he just told us he's not gonna be violent, so I don't know what this guy's gonna do. But he also really likes Mook and maybe will do something crazy and what he thinks is valiant for her.
I know. I could see that for sure. Like trying to get some redemption because he screwed up the last time.
Yeah, because he's kind of a dumbass, so he just needs a new job. He needs a new job. This is not for you.
He needs to get his resume together and start looking for
that CV.
Something.
Well, closing out the staff, also Fabian performs tonight.
Wow.
This was hilarious. So we predicted Fabian's song would be like featured in the episode and we'd have like scenes played over it. But poor Fabian didn't get any screen time.
I know. We got like a couple bars and then we just saw the girls trip arguing. So sorry, Fabian. But it sounded pretty good from what we saw.
I honestly don't even remember it.
It was not bad. It was not a disaster like maybe we thought it could be.
Yeah, I wonder how he's gonna feel after that performance. He might quit. He might just, try to become an artist.
Oh, no, that would be interesting. He should talk to our friend Steve, who's also a movie producer. Maybe he has some connects.
Yeah, true. So true.
Oh, man. Well, let's get to our favorite Southern family with incestuous tendencies, the Ratliffs.
Tsunami.
Tsunami. So at Greg Gary's party, Saxon and Chelsea have a little conversation, and Saxon asks her why she's with Rick, and she says that when they first met, he told her his whole life story, and they're like yin and yang. And she says, I'm hope and Rick is pain. And in the end, one of us will win. So they're kind of having like some connection, and they end up leaving the party together. And some interesting things happen. So on the way back, he tries to convince Chelsea that he's not as one-dimensional as she thinks, and he asks her to help him evolve spiritually. So she agrees to help him meditate. They go back to Chelsea's room, and they're sitting on the bed, and Saxon moves his hands onto Chelsea's hands, and she gets freaked out and gets up and says he needs to leave. She has to call Rick, and she throws some self-help books at him and asks him to leave.
Oh, man, Saxon, you were so close to being decent. I think there's truth to what he's saying, though. Like, we can see that his character is struggling. He's realizing that there's no substance to him. Like, he doesn't know who he is. He has that conversation with his dad at the party, basically saying, like, my entire worth and identity is tied to you. I'm known as your son, and if you fuck up, like, I'm fucked. And I think he's just realizing, and probably a lot from what Chelsea has said, that there's nothing of substance to him. Like, he doesn't have anything that's grounding him in this world. So I think there is some truth to him. Like, he was being kind of honest when he was like, I'm not one-dimensional, you know, maybe you could help me. But then the same old asshole, like, had to come out, you know?
Yeah, I know. It would have been great if he would have, I don't know, not tried to make a move. It wasn't like super gross of him to like touch her hands, but I think she has this instinct to like try and help people and save people. Yeah. And I think the same thing that drew her to Rick is kind of drawing her to Saxon a little bit in some ways, because she obviously finds herself a little bit taken aback at being attracted to him in that moment, or feeling something when he touches her, because she gets up and is like, you need to leave. She will like hardly will look at him, because I think she's just feeling a little conflicted.
Yeah. And maybe just that, like, she really thought that he had pure intentions and then did it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because she's been very loyal to Rick this entire time. But I do agree that she admits that she likes a project. Like, that's why she likes Rick. It's that she wants to help him. Yeah. So, yeah, I see why these two are connecting for sure.
Well, let's go over to the monastery. Lachlan and Piper are talking in the bedroom that they're staying in the monastery, or I think Lachlan's bedroom. And Lachlan tells Piper that he doesn't want to go home and is considering staying with her for a year at the monastery. And Piper is a little disturbed by this. Maybe there are some better descriptors for this, but she just like leaves. She says, I'm going to bed. So an interesting little conversation here, but I think some of what I took from this is that like Lachlan's obviously like confused about who he should be and his identity and all of that, because when he's with Saxon, he's doing everything Saxon tells him to do, because he thinks like that's the thing he should do. And then when he's with Piper, he's trying to do all the same things Piper is doing. But in this particular instance, when he says, I want to stay here with you, where Saxon might have been psyched to hear that, Piper is not excited to hear this.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I wasn't sure when I initially watched it, but I have read someone's take that Lachlan is kind of, that character is there to hold a mirror to the other siblings and kind of like show them what's really going on with them. And we saw that with Saxon, obviously, with the incest.
Yeah.
But with Piper, it kind of happened here too, because, you know, he's telling his sister, like, oh yeah, I'm not going to go to college. I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to do this thing. I just don't want to be near the family, and I don't want to go home. And I think that kind of showed Piper a little bit of like the reasoning behind why she wanted to do this, which freaked her out.
Yeah.
Because it seems like she is trying to escape from her family. I mean, rightfully so. I would be too. But yeah, I don't know. Lachlan's like causing chaos here in the family.
Oh, totally. I think you're so right, or whoever said that where you read it is so right. Whoever said it. Yeah, he really is showing his siblings who they are by being, you know, a version of them. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, we will see what happens with Lachlan. I think at this point, everybody has speculated that everyone will die in the finale. So some people have said Lachlan will die. We'll see if he dies.
We'll see.
Well, a couple of things. We can't forget about Victoria. Victoria has some good one-liners this episode and conversations. When she finds out that she's going to Greg, Gary, and Chloe's party, she's like, "Oh no, not the boat people." Maybe I didn't say that right. How did she say it?
I think that's right.
Okay.
And she says it multiple times. She says, "The boat people." She's so hilarious.
I love her. She also has a really funny conversation at the party. She sees again this like older guy and younger Thai girl together, and she's like happy to recognize them, which is really funny. But she gets a moment to talk to this Thai girl, and she's like, she's basically like, "I can save you. Like, why are you with this guy? Does he have money? Do you need to get out?" And she's like, the Thai girl is like legit confused. She's like, "No, I love him."
I know, it's so funny. Come with me back to North Carolina.
The most generous thing she's done, honestly, is
I know, right? I would be like, okay, cool. Let's go. Another scene I thought was hilarious is when she's praying. She's like sitting up straight with her like hands in prayer. And Timothy's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm praying that Piper has a horrible time at the monastery."
Aww.
It is such a like Southern mom thing to do, to pray that your child has a horrible time because you know what's
Honestly,
good for them.
Honestly, yeah. A little bit more lore. Besides the fact that we have allergies, we also grew up in the church a little bit, and this feels like spot on, honestly, with like what church people would pray for.
Yeah, I'm gonna pray you have a horrible time for your own good.
Yeah,
because I love you.
Because it's God's will.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, a couple of other things happen with the Ratliffs. We can't forget about Timothy, who has just been fantasizing about death for episodes now at this point. But he fantasizes again about killing Victoria and himself. But this time he also visualizes killing Saxon, especially after this conversation at the party. And he goes to look for the gun that he stashed in the villa, but is shocked to find it missing. So he's now discovered it's gone, and he probably can guess who took it. But maybe not. Maybe he thinks someone else discovered it.
Yeah, maybe not. I'm wondering, like, he keeps adding to his list of people he's gonna kill.
I know. Soon it's going to be Piper and Lachlan. Look out.
I know. Well, you know our theory from last week about him just going on a rampage with the whole family. It could happen. I think that's a little dark, but
yeah.
He's having a really bad time and realizing that everyone has like tied themselves to this success that he built for this family and how it's going to impact them. Which...
Well, you know, It seems like Piper might be his favorite child out of the bunch, and maybe that's why, because she doesn't really like hinge her life and everything on what he like his success, Timothy's success.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, you know who does is Saxon. Can we talk about their conversation at the party? So Saxon confronts Timothy because he notices he's acting weird. He goes up to him. Timothy is slouched in his chair talking to Greg Gary.
Wait, can we talk about how in the hell does he still have lorazepams left?
I don't know.
Every time you see him, he's popping like 2 at a time.
And she only had 1 bottle.
I know.
I don't know.
Show is not realistic.
The never-ending lorazepam. But yeah, he's pammed out, and Saxon goes up to him and he's like, "Can I talk to you?" And he confronts him and like asks him if something is wrong, and he basically like hits the nail on the head and is like, "Is something going on at work?" Not that it's like current work, but you know, it's related to what Timothy has done before.
Yeah.
And Timothy frustratingly denies that anything is wrong, but he's clearly so messed up.
Yeah. I'm sure he's thinking like, if I tell them, they'll be like implicated too, potentially.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. But of course, Saxon knows it's work because I don't think Timothy has anything else going on, you know? Like, this is everything to them.
Right.
So,
what else would stress him out that much? I mean, surely it's not Piper.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't give a shit about Piper. He's like, yeah, go. That monk was kind of legit. He's the real deal.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. Speaking of being Pammed out, though, I really hope we see Pam again next episode. We have to, right?
Everyone on Reddit is asking, where is Pam?
Pam.
We need Pam. Yeah, I hope we see her. Well, the last episode is an hour and a half long. So
wow. Basically a movie.
We could see her.
We better see her. Yeah, a lot of things happened this episode, but Mike White has his work cut out for him to wrap this up in one more episode. Ooh, should we talk about a few fan theories that are going on?
Let's do it.
I don't think a lot of these are very new, but I like just hearing people's takes on things. So Anon 543217899 on Reddit says, "My guess is that the police raid the resort. Rick thinks they're coming for him. Gary thinks they're coming for him. Timothy thinks they're coming for him. But Guy Talk called them in for Valentine and company. And somehow, in between all of this, Chelsea is killed."
Wow.
So this is playing off the theory that we've talked about before, which is the authorities come and everyone thinks it's for them.
I could for sure see this happening as like, so people are saying that like Rick in this episode did the right thing, quote unquote, by not killing Jim. And so he is kind of experiencing, you know, an evolution of himself in a way. Even though I feel like Rick probably doesn't have it in him to kill anybody based off of that interaction. Like if this is your worst enemy and you've killed people before, potentially, like why wouldn't you have done it to him? But anyway, yeah, I could see this like being a tragic twist of fate for Rick to have Chelsea die because he has, you know, I don't know, chosen to do the right thing. Again, heavy quotes around that because it's still messed up what he did. But yeah, and then, you know, once he kind of realizes that he just has to work through the rest of what's going on and that killing him won't solve his problems, he, you know, the person who cares about him the most dies.
Yeah, I think that makes there's been so many hints that Chelsea is going to die. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's very likely. And I agree. Like, Rick has not appreciated this woman who cares about him so much, is so loyal to him, like, is willing to help him through all of this, even though he's, like, pretty much an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty poetic.
True.
It sucks because we love Chelsea, but
I know. I love her so much.
yeah. Well, Jackass4224 on Reddit says the look on Jim's face and his reaction says it all. He is Rick's father, which I think we kind of hinted at earlier in the episode. But yeah, a lot of people are thinking that Jim is actually Rick's father, which him not killing him means we might see more resolution to this. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I feel like, the ideal scenario, like people kind of trying to tie every storyline up with a neat little bow. I mean, that's not the White Lotus way. So I feel like dream scenario would be Jim somehow gets in touch with Rick and lets him know he's his dad, and they hold hands and skip off together. But I feel like Rick is going to walk away from this not realizing that Jim is his dad. I really
Yeah.
do think Jim is his dad, based off of their conversation and the fact that, like, why wouldn't he say his dad's name? Does he know his dad's name? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, all signs are pointing to that's his dad. Have you have you heard people talk about the theory that Sritala is Rick's dad?
no. Peter Pan?
Yeah. I'm like, we saw video of her like 25 years ago. We know that's not Rick's
Hell,
dad.
that would be so weird.
That's hilarious though. I agree. And it could be Jim that is the one that puts the hit on Chelsea after what Rick pulled. You know?
Shit, that'd be crazy.
Like they know they're staying there. They know Chelsea.
That would be weird. I feel like Jim is like, I feel like Rick's mom probably made Jim out to be like this horrible person, but I don't know if he actually is or was. Like, I really don't, I don't know
Yeah.
if I believe that at all.
It's unclear. He does say something
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I had to kind of like clean up my act as I got older. You can't keep doing that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, you know?" So
Yeah.
I do believe that he
was so
probably was like
cryptic.
a shady character back in the day. I mean, he made a lot of money, and usually you have to exploit someone for that.
True.
But
Murder?
yeah, I don't know. It's just not looking good for Chelsea, sadly.
No, sorry, Chels. Well,
Well, Alicia, you have your own theory here that you want to share.
I have two wildly different theories about Guy Talk. So
Let's
the
go.
first one, this is like that ideal dream scenario. So
So it's not going to happen.
so it's not going to happen. But if Guy Talk evolves in the way that his character maybe should, or I don't know, that we dream he could, I think he should turn Mook down and or quit his job. Like, I think he's sending the same signal. I think he loves his job because the girl that he's into works there, and he gets to flirt with her and wave at people.
It's a smiling way, boys.
I think it would be great for him to, like, do something for himself for once that is
Yeah.
true to him, because obviously they are not aligned in their values, and he can't be violent, and she thinks that it's like just human nature to be that way. So I feel like that would be dream sitch, and it could still happen, and maybe we get burned on the other end through some other character storylines. But my wildly alternative theory is that Guy Talk and the Russians have a shootout.
Yeah. Oh, we did kind of say he might
We
try
did,
to.
yeah.
He might be stuck on Mook so much that he's gonna try to impress her.
Yeah, could be a redemption, in his eyes, redemption for messing up. Yeah.
What if he? What if he like somehow like kind of like comes off as a badass, and then he and Mook ride off together on his little motorcycle?
That would be stupid and I wouldn't like it. What if in the shootout, now we're just having fun. What if in the shootout, Guy Talk kills Sritala?
Oh shit! Now that would be crazy.
Now, wouldn't that be wild, you guys?
No, not Sritala.
No, of course, we don't want her to die, but wouldn't he just screw himself over 1,000 times by killing her?
That would be
that's
pretty
so him,
hilarious. And then Mook's
right?
just like, bye.
Yikes.
I don't know that guy. Oh, we have some great theories. I have one of my own that I will share. So this episode, Saxon kind of clocking his dad and what's going on. I'm kind of sensing that he's going to find out about Timothy's troubles before the rest of the family. And we know that poisonous fruit thing was introduced the first episode, and this guy can't stop making protein shakes. What if he somehow realizes that the only way to save his family from this is to kill his dad?
Mm-hmm.
And he hooks him up with a poison protein shake. And he's so pammed out, he's going to drink that thing.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be interesting. Like, it would follow that Saxon might, like, ask Pam for his phone and then see, probably calls, texts, news stories, whatever, about his dad. And then
because he's suspicious. He's already suspicious. His dad's acting fucking weird. And he spelled out for us that if something goes wrong at work, he's like done for completely. So,
wow.
Yeah, he might just try to save himself and the family by offing Timmy.
Well, you know what? Timmy is also getting like more and more horizontal as the episodes go on. So maybe Timothy goes for a swim or something and just drowns himself because he's so like out of it.
Yeah, maybe no one gets shot.
Maybe no one gets shot.
Maybe Timmy was just going for a swimmy.
And that would be like the most peaceful way for him to go, like nonviolent.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will say we haven't seen a lot of monkeys in the past several episodes.
I know.
I don't know.
Where are they? How are they supposed to get the gun?
Yeah. There's so many red herrings, I feel like, in this season.
I know. The monkeys, the fruit, those were all like episode 1
too
introductions.
Obvious. Yeah. I know.
Okay. Before we go, I do want to get a temp check from you on how you feel about the season so far.
I think, The White Lotus has always been a show for me that I'm not like, oh my God, I have to watch the next episode. I have to watch the next episode. Mm-hmm. It's a slow burn show. But I will say, I think this season has piqued my interest more than others in terms of what is going to happen.
Yeah.
There's also been a lot of uncomfy stuff. I mean, I think there's something uncomfortable in every season, but this one has just been like, I mean, the incest.
Yeah.
But so far I've been happy with it. I guess this last episode will tell a lot because it could just go insane, and I don't know. It could be kind of the falling off of the White Lotus. We'll see. I don't know. What do you think?
I I think this, like the success of this season kind of hinges on the finale for sure. Because a lot of people, I think, haven't been totally hooked this season. And I think, like, honestly, out of all of the seasons so far, this one doesn't have that, like, perfect chemistry of characters for me. Like, I feel like in past seasons, I don't know if it's like the actors and, like, you know, their chemistry together and all of that, but I feel like this one doesn't quite feel like it has the same lightning in a bottle kind of feel of the first two seasons, especially the first one.
Yeah, I guess I would agree. It's giving a little more like Knives Out murder mystery caper in terms of like the characters.
Yeah.
I just think there's a lot of like caricature type people in this season.
Yeah, I think so too. And I've also, like, honestly, I feel like they kind of did like the Thai people storylines a little bit boring. Like, can you make these people a little more dynamic?
Yeah, I agree. They were a little flat. Mike could have, and we didn't really leave the resort that much. I don't know. We were in Bangkok, but it was all like rich people and like, yeah, the first time we saw like a Thai street, it was, and them like eating or something was this past episode, and it was really short. I guess they showed the Muay Thai fights, but yeah, I agree. It's like we're watching Americans, Russians.
All right. Yeah.
And the Thai
I guess
people
that tracks
are like
for the people in Thai resorts.
a resort. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mike White might just have to go back and do a prequel and bring back Jennifer Coolidge.
Dude, that would save it.
To get the show back to its former glory. You know what I mean?
I know, but even that I feel like would be hard.
Yeah, it's been
hard
done
to capture.
Yeah. We need another Jennifer Coolidge. You know, Gabby Windy. Now that would be fucking hilarious.
That would be so funny. I wonder if she's done any acting gigs, like small ones.
I don't know. She was a cheerleader.
Yeah. If you don't know who we're talking about, look her up. She was on the most recent season of the U.S. Traders and or the Traders U.S., whatever. And she was awesome. She was also on The Bachelorette.
Was on The Bachelor.
Or
Bachelor. And a lot of people call her our generation's Jennifer Coolidge. If you go and watch her speak, you'll understand why. But she's freaking hilarious.
She's so funny. I love
Mike
her.
White, if you're listening, we're putting out our bid. Gabby Windy for The White Lotus season 4.
Yep. Only her.
Only just her in a room like her podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God. Well, y'all, this was a longin'.
Sorry,
apologize. But so much is happening. And then next episode is going to be even longer.
It's okay. We can do it.
We can do it, guys.
Thanks for sticking with us. We're at the finale next week. I can't believe it. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday. Well, one more Wednesday anyway.
And then stop.
And then stop listening to us altogether. No, after that, we're going to be talking about Black Mirror, which we're super excited for. That also comes out in a couple of weeks. And I'm pumped to see what the episodes are like. I've gotten like very little spoilers, so I want to go into it kind of blank slate.
Yeah, I'm excited for Black Mirror. There's so many colors happening. I keep calling it the Black Lotus and like getting things mixed up.
The white severance.
Hey, that's offensive to Milchick.
What? Sorry.
But The Last of Us is it out now? It's coming out really soon. So that'll be going. I don't think we're going to do full episodes on that, but we might, throw in some.
I might chat about it.
Check-ins.
I don't know yet. I can't commit. I did just replay or I am at the end of replaying the second video game.
Wow.
And I've played
Alicia's
it so many
a gamer,
times,
y'all. If you don't know this, some trivia about Alicia. She is a gamer, and she's actually really good.
Lore drop, I'm a gamer. You guys learned a lot about us this week.
Oh, so much. We have allergies, and Alicia's a gamer. So don't forget that.
And we grew up in the church. Praise him.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you guys for listening. We love y'all, and we really appreciate every listen and every text about the crazy shit we're saying. So thank you. We hope everyone has a great week.
See you next time.
Bye-bye. Sawadee krap.
Sawadee krap.